Hey guys, so in this video, we're looking at CP quiz 3. And so it says here in problem 3, it says at yoga studio, first time customers are permitted to borrow equipment. And there are 6 yoga mats, 4 bolsters, 3 sets of blocks available. And they want to know how many different combinations does a customer choose. So when we're talking about combinations, you can figure that out by multiplying the number of items in each set. So 6 times 4 times 3. So 6 times 4 times 3 gives me 72 combinations. And that's pretty much it. It's a pretty easy problem there. So anytime we're talking about combinations, just multiply the number of items. Zarly spends 22 minutes in 50 minutes of a workout for strength changing. But they want to know the percentage of the workout that's devoted to other exercises. So the keywords other. So 22 out of 50 minutes are used for strengths. That means 50 minus 22 is 28. 28 out of 50 minutes are used for other. So 28 divided by 50 is 0.56 in decimal, which would be 56% in percentages. So 56%. 15 says, let H be this function, evaluate H of -2. So you're plugging -2 in for X. So setting things up here, you're plugging in -2. I just want to remind you, anytime you have absolute values, you don't use it like parentheses. You don't distribute. Please do not distribute. I can't say that, emphasize that much more than that. So this 2 has to be, so inside has to be cleaned up first. So 2 minus, let's see, -3 times -2 is +6. So notice I'm working inside of the absolute value first. I just clean up whatever's inside the absolute value first. So 2 plus 6 is 8. Absolute value of 8 is +8. And then everything else comes down. And then do your math problem. So this is a -7. So A is the correct answer. So absolute values do not distribute inside of an absolute value. Okay. All right. So it says of the triangles with the side lengths given, which is a right triangle. So you guys know right triangles always have to follow this rule, Pythagorean theorem, where if you take the sides, it should always be, the 2 sides should always be squared and added and should be equal to the hypotenuse squared. So what I like to do is always start with like the top and then try one from the bottom. The reason why I do this, I'm going to take 6 squared and take 13 squared because those are the shortest legs. Remember, the hypotenuse is always the longest. So that's why I need to take 6 and 13 first and add them together and then see if it's equal. So 6 squared, 6 squared plus 13 squared is 205. Let's see what 14 squared is. That's 196. So this is not true. So now I'm going to try E. Because oftentimes they force you to try all of them before you get to the right answer. So sometimes the bottom could be the right answer, or the last choice could be the right answer. So if I square that, I get 141 or 841. What's 29 squared? Oh, it's also 141. See, they made the last one the right answer. So if you went in order, you would have done all 4 of these until you realize E is the correct answer. So that's what I like to do, is start with the top, then start one with the bottom, start with one next in the second, and then second to last. And that might help figure out the answer quicker. Joni scored 80 on 3 of the tests, 92 on 2, 100 on 1 of the tests. What is the average for all the tests in year 10th? So when thinking about average, you have to take the sum. So let's see, she scored 80% on 3 of them. Add that with 92 times 2 of the tests. Add that with 100 times 1 of the tests. So if you add up the number of tests, 3 plus 2 plus 1, she took 6 tests. So we need to divide that by 6. So I can plug this all in the calculator at once if you want. Oops, be careful when you do this. You can do this one step at a time. 92 times 2. Plus 100 times 1. I guess I didn't have to do that part. Divide that by 6. It's 87.3. And so that's C. Okay, so we're halfway point. So this car rental company charges $20 per day for a rental. And then 50 cents for each mile driven. Keep the car for 3 days and charge 156. How many miles? All right, so in my mind, we need to know how many miles she drove, or this person drove. So I'm thinking about creating a formula. So we have the price. So the price of the car is $20 a day. So 20 times D in number of days added with the number of miles added onto it. So 50 cents times each mile. So we actually know how much she paid for, which is $156. And then she spent 3 days driving. And then we need to figure out how many miles. So now I've created an algebraic problem. So I'm going to try to solve for M, or miles. So I'm going to subtract off 60. That would give me 96 on this side. I'm going to divide off 0.5. Oops, I don't know why I did that. So 96 divided by 0.5. 96 divided by 0.5 is 192. So she drove 192 miles. All right, 39. So it says here you have F and G, and you need to figure out what G of F is. So just keep in mind, this little open circle here is not a multiplication symbol. It actually means G of F, which means plug in the F inside of G. So what I'm going to do is replace F with what it is. F is 1 over x plus 2, as you can see here. So I replace this guy with what it is. And now you're going to take all of this and plug it into G. So the only thing you can plug in is wherever you see an x. So this is going to be 3 over x, but instead of x, you're going to put in what you're plugging in, which is x plus 2. And then there's a plus 1 that we need to bring down. All right, so I'm going to solve this problem. I need a common denominator. So I'm going to put this over 1, multiply top and bottom by x plus 2. So this would be 3, 1 over x plus 2 plus x plus 2 over x plus 2. Okay, I'm going to combine like terms. So I have x plus 2. Oops, I need to make more room for that. So there's a 3 on top, x plus 2. There's an x plus. So notice there's x here, and then 2 plus 1 is 3. All right, so we're dividing. So I need to flip this guy. So 3 times x plus 2 is now on top, x plus 3. All right, so I'm going to look and see which one might look similar, and I think it's going to end up being this one, because 3 times x is 3x, 3 times 2 is 6, and then there's an x plus 3 on top, on the bottom. And so I think A is the correct answer. Everything else doesn't look quite right. All right, so this one's a little tricky. So you have 2 equation, and you need to find the value of y over x. So first thing I would have thought to do is elimination, where you stack the equation and solve for x and y. But I also notice if I just want to know y over x, I'm going to take this equation here. The reason why I want to take this equation is because I could move this y over very easily. In fact, I could just take this y and just, y and add it over to the other side. So I'm going to move 2y to the other side. I'm going to divide by 3. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I'm trying, oops, I did that wrong. I meant to divide over, I'm going to divide over x. Yes, that's my thought. I'm going to divide over x. So this would cancel. And so now I have 3, 2y over x. Okay, now notice that I'm almost there. I have a y and an x. And I want to get y and x by itself, so I'm going to move this 2 over. So to get rid of this 2, multiplying the y, so I'm going to divide it off. So if I divide it off, I'm basically multiplying it by a half, so that cancels. So I'm going to divide this side by 2. So this is y over x, 3 over 2. So y over x is really 3 over 2, b. If you are not comfortable with that, just use elimination where you stack it. You could do it that way. Okay, so in this problem here, which of the following lines is parallel to the line of the graph? So parallel means that their slopes are the same. So looking at this slope here, it looks like this is at 2 and this is at 1. So rise over run, it went down 2 from here to here, it went down 2, so -2, it went over 1, so the slope is -2. So I just need to find an equation with a slope of -2, which would be C. Yeah, it looks like it's C. That one was easy. Okay, 58 says the sum of three consecutive odd integers. So consecutive means like one after the other. So like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 are consecutive integers. But because it says odd consecutive, it means every odd. So it'd be like 1, 3, 5, 7. So it says the sum of three consecutive integer is 129. What is the average of the two smallest of these integers? Okay, I need some time to think about this problem. I would probably think of it this way, where I'm taking three things and I'm adding it together, and that gives me 129. Three consecutive integers. So I don't know what the integers are, so I'll call it x. So x is a odd integer. And so if they are odd, that means the next digit has to be, let's see, if this was like from 1 to 3, that's about 2, a difference of 2. So that means that the next integer has to be x plus 2 and x plus 4, because I'm moving up by 2. So if whatever this integer is, to get the next odd integer, you would have to add by 2. To get the next odd integer, you add by 4. So in that case, I can create a algebraic equation here. So x plus x plus x is 3. 3x plus 2 and 4 is 6. So I can solve for this. So 3x, I'm going to move the 6 over. That'd be 123. X is equal, let's see, 123 divided by 3 is 41. So x is really 41. And it says the average of the two smallest. So the two smallest would have been 41, and then the next number would have been 43, because you're adding up the two smallest integers that are odd. Then you just divide that by 2, because there's just 2 digits here. So 41 plus 43, 41 plus 43 is 84. Divide that by 2 is 42. So I believe this would be G. All right, that's it for this video.